Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am that infamous Shawn, and I'm recording this show as I always do every week on Thursdays. And the only thing that would dampen my normally overly enthusiastic passion this morning is the horrible plane and helicopter collision, which I woke up to. And as a little personal note, I immediately went when I saw the location because I get up at 3:45 in the morning on days that we record this show, and my son, who and his wife, who she also works right well in the Treasury Department, and he works at a joint base, but lives. And I quickly got out the map and zoomed in on the Alexandria side, but flies out of course, Reagan all the time, which is right there. It was only miles where the planes came down, or plane and helicopter came down from where he lived. So, the saving grace was, in a way, that all that debris could have caused a lot of additional harm on the ground, including many, many families that have people working there like I do. And so in that respect, after the miracle on the Hudson, where Captain Sully, who truly, to me, I'll always remember his name and read and saw everything about him, because that was a hero in full command of saving those people's lives. And yeah, so that was quite something. Luckily, of course, the Potomac isn't very deep there. My son rides his bike, jogs, walks right along there all the time, and sends me pictures with that in the background, because he knows I don't like to see cityfied pictures, pictures with big buildings. So even, sorry to say this, but, you see the Washington Monument. I don't need the Washington Monument or the Capitol behind him more than once. And so I'd rather see a rock in the picture, him holding a rock from the Potomac or something like that. So, you always want to think, and it wasn't very deep. It's not very deep there, but the temperature of the water and the things. So I just wanted to say that my passion will always come out for what we do here, but there are moments that it can be dampened that I needed to just get off my chest, address it, and get on to what this show is about. Because the thing about rocks and minerals and the whole metaphysical side to it. Now, that's a side that you can, some believe, some don't, and it's up to the individual. And believe me, I've told the story. I'll tell it again one day if you haven't heard it, of what made me a believer that there is a science-based many, many issues to the metaphysical side of rocks and minerals that is science-based, that they discovered long ago, that has made a believer out of me, to the point where I am not a disbeliever. And to each his own when it comes to their belief on the metaphysical part. Now, do I think each separate color of a separate type of quartz does certain things only if it's been cleansed, and all these other, layer upon layer? Not so much. But can a quartz crystal or a tourmaline crystal, using piezoelectric pressure on it, thus generating an electrical current, can that be used for healing? Absolutely. Can taking a sulfur crystal, crushed sulfur, charcoal, what do they say? And for those of you, if you do not know, this one outdoor trick that is related to what we do here, you need to know it. If you ever have an upset stomach, take a piece of charcoal from your fire you made, anybody's fire, a campfire along the way, and chew it or get it into your stomach and digestive tract. That's all what many remedies were for a long, long time. Charcoal, and great natural remedy for the stomach. That also said, What do they say? When your mouth is dry, you have no water, you're struggling across the Mojave looking for that gold mine. And what are you supposed to do to keep your mouth wet? Just put a rock in it, a pebble, but still, it's a rock. Just make sure it is not something that looks like orpiment or realgar, or maybe a bright yellow chartreuse color that kind of reminds me of the poison arrow frogs in Brazil that say, I'm this bright and colorful not to attract me so you can eat me, but to warn you that if I'm this pretty and beautiful, kind of like a woman, you shouldn't attack me or touch me. And so, in the same realm, if you think about it, arsenic ores, orpiment, and realgar both have bright crimson kind of reds and yellows. And I think of that, and everyone should, if you're challenged with what something is, think about associations like that. And I guarantee right now, since I said that about realgar and orpiment, you'll always remember the colors. Now, orpiment happens to be yellow, realgar happens to be towards the red end. They can blend back and forth a little bit, but either way, you're talking about arsenic ores that in their molecular state as they are, you can handle them, wash your hands afterwards, of course. But in, of course, their pure form, no. But either way, I mean, if you crush up arsenic ore, oh, that's not a good thing. So bright colors in that respect. And in the same respect, bright colors, remember I mentioned the chartreuse yellow ones? Stay away? Yeah, because there's a good chance many of those bright chartreuse yellow minerals that you see out there have are radioactive, have uranium or thorium in them. And you know how the Raven is when she comes to names. You know, she loves to skew a name Barney Fife style, like Scooter Rudite calling it Scooby Doo, Scooby Doo, right? And many other famous ones were. But there was one I was trying to get for her because it was a perfect named specimen for the Raven, because its actual name was Zippyite. Zippyite. That would be like the name she would turn it into. Let's say if it was, who knows what it could be. It could be just some kind of rhymes a little bit with it, and somehow she comes up with. So I actually showed her, and I was trying to win this specimen for her in an auction, and oh, she was so excited. But then she saw me also not go beyond a price point that I didn't think this little 1.5 by 1.5 little inch piece of something that you can't create a wire wrap and wear it around your neck because it had a high CPM count. But yeah, but I love the name. It was classic Zippyite. So anyway, if you don't know of that mineral either, look it up. Zippeite, Zippyite, or at least that's the way the Raven would pronounce it. Okay, let's get. We've got a lot to cover today. Let's get to the comments. Now, this time, everybody really enjoyed the what is it? Miss Arlene, I never received, since, I see that you sent in a message relating to the messages that I didn't receive. You said one had just went away, and yeah, that's happened before. So who knows where it wound up. And I've had somehow my computer hang on to messages, and then one day it just like, we'll send them all. That was when I had a little bit worse before they buried, and they do this. And hey, this is geology too. This is about underground stuff. So hey, I'm still segueing here on the right direction. When they were bringing in, I had to use before a direct satellite dish, whatever they're called. And oh my, you couldn't watch a movie. It was real expensive. That was before, you had endless number of gigs or whatever they call it stuff. So when AT&T was bringing in actual hardwire and upgrading, which we were so relieved we could actually have real internet and connection and get all the TV stuff. we already had underground electricity in the subdivision, underground wires and everything. So I thought, well, are they really going to take this cable and punch it underneath every single driveway and obstacle in an up and down? Remember, this is, North Georgia environment. And sure enough, they took that little auger, special cool machine, and drilled holes underneath everybody's driveways and all these up and down obstacles. And it was just amazing. I thought, because I thought, I need one of those. I just know I need one of those. There'll be a geologic situation. Can't think of one right off my top of my head, but there'll be one where I need one of those. So it was pretty interesting. That's what they did. Greatly speeding up many, 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 many things you can imagine. So it allows me to be able to download some files that I haven't normally been able to do before. So it was a really amazing thing, and what they can and are willing to be able to do, and how they can bore holes through mountains. I think that is all amazing. So anyway, Miss Arlene in Texas, I'm glad you resent your message, summarizing apparently the ones that I missed. And that's what can happen out there. And that's why and this is where I was going with that conversation, that's why prior to getting that high speed, whatever, the internet, it seemed like my messages would like clump up together. And then when there was a connection that would finally be made strong enough or big enough, wide enough, I don't know, boom, then it would send them all at the same time. And that's how I would wind up with late and clumped up messages. Okay, so let's get going here. We have first from Miss Jan, and all of you remember Miss Jan, who lost her wonderful son and husband in a short period of time. So, but she's checking in with us. She goes, I believe the Lord above was watching me and granted me a way to get a picture. So remember the other week, Miss Jan had the question about what a particular mineral specimen was. It was pink and it was green. And it was about the size of her, it was like 4 inches long, she said, and large. And so I could only think of tourmaline, but then when I thought it was given to her, of course, my mind goes to a financial aspect of it. Does someone just give something like that if it is a tourmaline? Because she said it was clear. And I thought, wow, that'd be a lot of value. I don't know what else it would be. Maybe a barrel. So that's where this conversation stems from. Granted me a way to get a picture. I thought it was a tourmaline, but after seeing your green, then she has green barrel apatite. So I just kind of, what I showed last week was the green apatite. So I think that's kind of what she meant. But after seeing your green apatite, I believe that's what I have. The tourmalines don't have all the shard-like cuts inside, so I think it's a barrel. It measures 1 by 4 inches. Okay, so she thinks it's the barrel as opposed to the tourmaline. The worth is more to me, not money, a token of friendship. Also, seeing your smoky quartz piece, I have to share a little background. When you were on gem shopping, which I still am on gem shopping, but I know what you mean. You're talking about when I was doing the gem shopping live show in the many years past, which I did for 9 years in a row up until 7.5 years ago when I started this. When you were on gem shopping, my son knew how much I love gems. He found a place that had a gems and mineral and gave one to me. It's a giant piece of smoky quartz. It measures 8 by 6 inches. He gave it to me. I hope he didn't spend too much, but love has no boundaries, right? That's correct. So here's my picture. Hugs to you. The look on your face when I described a green gem, knowing the difference between a tourmaline and beryl, let's just say I knew, but I wasn't exactly sure. And we'll call it brain fog. One of these days, that energy and spunk that you said I had will be medically dealt with. Thank you again. Hugs and smooches, Miss Jan. Now, that's where a point where and what we do with the what am I is what can you tell from simply a picture? And, oftentimes a picture is worth 1,000 words. And like I said, gem shopping has existed for 27 years, selling items of over $1 million in value on a picture and the sound of the host. And as I mentioned last week, so we're selling on two senses, sight and sound. The host who is presenting, like myself, I am selling on three senses, touch, sight, and sound. So I have that additional, very important, that I get to touch, I get to hold it, I get to physically look at it close up. And for certain things, like I said, smell, which only kind of pertains to things like sulfur, which, believe me, if you do, you know instantly, of course, everyone does what sulfur, even if you don't know what sulfur smells like, it's funny, you know what sulfur smells like. It's just one of those things. Very distinct. So, with the being able to have a picture is often all that's needed, and certainly has been for gem shopping all these years, for so many of you to have the faith to go ahead and make those purchases based on the picture and the sound. So that's what we do with the what am I, and all of you have been really well, really did great this past time. I'm really proud of everybody that participated in it. And so the picture that Miss Jan sent me, as soon as I saw it, and I have it on my phone, but we won't deal with that right now. It'd be neat to put it to show and see how many others of you would get it. But I want to tell Miss Jan what it is right now. As soon as I saw it, I knew instantly what it was, without a doubt. So what I saw, and remember, this type of mineral is very dichroic, changes color with the direction you turn it. So she mentioned pink and green. In the picture, I saw only clear and a light greenish area, and then a little clearish area. I knew right away from the crystal shape what it was. It is a crystal of spodumene. Spodumene. So that would make sense that in a particular angle it could be pink, and it is the classic natural green color of spodumene that comes out of Afghanistan and that region of the world. And it's actually, to me, much more interesting and valuable that it has not been treated like they do and then sell them as hidenites. Because remember, a true hidenite from Hiddenite, North Carolina, the only place really in the whole world where genuine, true chromium-bearing hidenites are found. In other words, chromium-bearing true spodumenes, not the spodumene found in Afghanistan that is then bombarded and done everything to make it that, like, wow, and beautiful color green, but yeah, definitely cannot be sold as a hiddenite. And they sell for not a lot. Your natural crystal, that size, natural color, I mean, just in case you're curious, definitely has value and desirability. It has a really nice termination, and how I knew that it was spodumene. So do a little more research, because the gem variety, if it was all pink, it's kunzite. And the green variety, if it was all beautiful, true chromium green, would be hiddenite, extremely valuable. But a 4-inch by 1-inch crystal, beautiful, beautiful specimen of natural spodumene. So well done on you there. Okay, so Miss Arlene, I got this one from you. She says, hey, Shawn, not sure what happened to last week's email. I even had to send 2 of them. Somehow I sent the first email halfway through by mistake. So then I had to send the second one in order to finish the email. And trivia, I saw it wasn't read. Well, it wasn't read because I would have read it. I didn't get it, but that happens. Weird. Maybe it was lost in translation. Who knows? I was so proud of myself and have you to thank for it. Do you know I had rhodochrosite, aquamarine, demantoid, rubellite? Ah, you did do well then, because so far so good. The rubellite, it was the ruby instead, so you came really close there. Galena, see, I remember in the order by heart what they were. Galena, so very good there, because a lot of others said Galena. That was the one with a really bright metallic reflection, as in rutile. Galena or hematite, great answers we got on that one. Then on the next one, starlight, you had, which, of course, or that's what you have here. Number 7, remember if I wrote spessartine or andradite, well, it wouldn't have mattered because spessartine or andradite, I just would have accepted garnet of any kind because almost all the garnets fall in the same isometric crystal system that end up making them look like trapezohedrons or dodecahedrons or uh, versions thereof. So, oh yeah, back to what you had as starlight. So that was certainly a really good answer because you saw the cross of the crystals of, well, some said what would be rutile. They had that rutile color, but being only 4 of them, it puts it into the crystal system that andalusite is, and that particular variety of andalusite is, of course, chiastolite. But a wonderful way answer with the information that you had. So on the number 7, which was that garnet, and it interested in me because of was it Penny that put? Yeah, I think Penny. It was you that had put dravite, and you know, there's certain forms of dravite that can kind of somewhat look like that. But so I did my test on it. I had to know what kind of garnet. I knew it was a garnet, so I went ahead and tested it. And what it was made sense. It was a grossular garnet. So it was a grossular garnet, but of a dravite type of color. So that's why the dravite answer made me curious, just to check to make sure. Um, and then on the last ones, Miss Arlene has as Hewlandite. Very good if you got the Hewlandite one. And then the very last one, I think I put calcite just so it wasn't blank. LOL. Thought it was tangerine quartz. That would have been certainly an excellent answer as well. But I wasn't able to make out the crystal shape. Oh, I showed those 6 sides perfectly, that it was 6-sided at least, which would be the same number of sides as quartz. So yeah, I have to admit, I was really proud of myself for knowing that many. Like I said, I have you to thank for it. I just love your show. I can't get enough. I feel like a starved sponge, waiting, watching, and ready to gobble all of it I can from your vast knowledge. Well, thank you. Boy, that's a lot of compliments right there. I'm going to try to stay humble through that one. Oh, yes. I also, in the last email, I was thanking you for the chalcopyrite on dolomite specimen. That was a jewel. That was a really neat freebie. It is awesome, of course. I played with it for hours. I even did a photo shoot and videos to share here on my YouTube channel I started this past December. Why, yes, it's all about rocks and minerals. What else would it be about? Okay, to the business end of things, this week's trivia contest. And yes, I do appreciate any link you want to put on your YouTube channel directly to here. And remember, I'm only Shawn at gems.com. For all of you, that's all it takes for you, for me to be reading what I'm reading right here. Just send me a message, Shawn at gems.com. Okay, so the answers to the questions. So last week, normal trivia questions were, the first one was, name 3 minerals that were shown that belong to the calcite group and end in CO3, which means carbonate in the chemical jargon, is a carbonate if it ends in CO3. So I said to name 3 because there were more. Let's see. The second question was, what trace element has to be present in quartz for natural gamma radiation to turn it a smoky brown color? And this, a lot of people wouldn't know. I mean, how unusual would it be? You wouldn't think that silicon oxide has aluminum in it as well. But when you go back to actually looking at how many minerals have aluminum, silicate, and oxygen in them, everything from the beryl family, the chrysoberyl family, the sillimanites, the andalusites, lots and lots of them. The garnet family ends in the the pyrospites, and have aluminum, and so they are a aluminum, silicon, oxygen ending to them. So yeah. In the case of smoky quartz, it is aluminum. Number 3, During the show, I featured, referenced, or mentioned, and it's always important if I say during the show or in the past, things like that can mean different things. So during the show, I featured, mentioned, or referenced androdite garnet from 5 locations. Name 4 or more of them. And this was quite surprising. I got some that I didn't know I named and didn't get one that I use and sell from all the time for a location. So let's get to those answers here. Miss Arlene answers the number 1 question by saying Bixbyite, spherocobalt, which would be spherocobaltite, or no, spherocobaltite is right. It is on the when it comes to the cobaltine calcite, where you have to make the difference. So then the 3 minerals, you have Bixbyite, spherocobalt, which, again, it's spherocobaltite, ends in the ite. Remember, when in doubt, add an ite to it. Then you have the next one as cobaltoin. So I'll accept that because I know you probably meant cobaltoin calcite, but there's actually cobaltoin a lot of other things. So that distinction would have to be made in a normal situation. So except for the Bixby, I credited you with the couple answers there, which, by the way, I've never heard of. That's the spherocobalt until learning about them on the show today. Super cool. Go team number 3. Number 2, the element needed is aluminum to get the smoky brown color and smoky quartz. That's right on. Number 3, I asked the question on number 3 about the 5 different locations for androdite garnet. It didn't have to be demantoid type of androdite. It just had to be androdite. So Miss Arlene writes, and I read through spelling errors because, again, even my spell check on my phone messes up so much trying to do mineral specimens. So you have the Tabious mine, which I know you meant the Tebuscus mine. I thought was how it was spelled. My spell check says differently, which happens all the time when I'm writing about minerals. So I hope that's correct. Close enough. I know what you meant. That you get counted as 1. What you're referring to was the Tebuscus mine in Namibia, which on the Tebuscus farm, or what is known as the Tebuscus mine number 22, it's a big, expansive farm. There are many other deposits that have separate names within the Tebuscus farm. We'll get to that rest of that answer here in a bit. Okay, then you have the Stanley mine, which of course is the one in Arizona. And then you have this one I knew was a Russian mine that was responsible for the famous horsetail inclusions. Now, I think this is where you might have a little, so you write the Kokoda mines. I have to admit, I did not remember the actual name of the mine. I had to look that part up. I caught the reference and knew which one you were talking about from previous shows. For the life of me, I just couldn't remember the actual name of the mine. It was driving me nuts. I had to look it up. Not sure if I still qualify for the trivia, but and she sent a picture of Lucy doing one of her, don't know, shrugs. I bet I won't forget that name next time. Exactly what it is all about is learning. Thanks again for another amazing show filled with joy, excitement, knowledge, and of course, the stunning specimens you gave us all an opportunity to own. And that's the key. I want to say that about to own is, the amount of time I take, the free items I give out, I love doing all that, but to exist and stay here at Gem Shopping Network is at the kindness, at the behest of the CEO and Asif and all those others that support a show that is the only show that has price points below what would normally be acceptable to sell here at Gem Shopping. I say that because as much as this show is about show and tell, it is really in its heart a show and sell. And I just probably walk a fine line on that with the time given to educating you and the time that I should probably give to selling the items, maybe more so. So all I'm going to ask from all of you is that if you've won free items, if you participated in and like this show, then it's okay to save your lunch money up and make some purchases from it. They don't have to be large, but it always looks good. The number of people watching versus the number of people, a lot more is probably tracked because we are a large network, 27 years, 24/7. So in tracking different numbers, certain things look good, and I need those things to look good. So all of you, doesn't matter if it's a $25 item. I appreciate every single sale, and I appreciate all of your support. And I guess I was just drilling down a little deeper on what I meant by appreciating all of you support. And if you can maybe make a purchase from this show instead of from somewhere else that you would make a purchase of a rock or mineral from, do so, especially since everything is a good deal. So, all right. Let me see. Where are we at here? Okay, so when you mentioned about the Kokoda mine, well, I didn't have to look it up because I was familiar with the controversy. The Kokoda mine is actually a huge thorn in the side of Papua New Guinea and the Australian government, and the 600 soldiers killed in the Kokoda, what they call the Kokoda Track during World War II, et cetera, et cetera. There's a huge gold and copper deposit there. So it's not the Kokoda mine. And the horsetail inclusion Russian demantoids, I wouldn't have mentioned any particular mine because even though they're found in a couple of different locations, some of the best are in alluvial deposits. They've been panning out of the stream below the Ural Mountains that have washed out from original deposits. Original deposits were found in the mid-1800s. Some of those are kind of lost to history. Some of them, there's nothing else left. They're played out. They are what's called extinct. So, yeah. So if we ever talk about Russian demantoids, it's just going to be a general Russian demantoid, maybe with a horsetail inclusion or not. But let me tell you this. If you've ever thought that a horsetail inclusion was definitive of Russian origin, in the modern sense and in the common sense, that if you were to bet on if a demantoid garnet had a horsetail inclusion, those are the wispy, semicircular, curved inclusions that are found in some of the Russian demantoids. Most of the time, yes, it is going to be a Russian. But to give you some recent, relatively recent information, there were 18 out of 18 stones sent into GIA from the amazing quality. Have you ever seen the Italian demantoid garnets? Yeah. Miss Barbara, I think, wrote that she had never heard of the Iranian ones and looked them up, and she said the color is every bit as good as color from any of the deposits. Absolutely. Some stunning colors from other deposits people aren't familiar with. 18 out of 18 of those Italian demantoids has horsetail inclusions in them. I know, it is. Also, the stones sent in from Pakistan. Horsetail inclusions have been found in fine quality demantoids from Pakistan, from Italy, from Iran. Some of them, the Iranian ones, still with that formation turned out to be calcite. Most of the times they're actually hollow tubes, but they can fill in with, the generalized term is serpentine, but you can hear everything from asbestos to bisylite to serpentinite as the filler, because all those are, or chrysotile. You'll see the word chrysotile. Well, the word that comes usually after chrysotile is serpentine. Chrysotile is a type of serpentine. Talc is a type of serpentine. Bisylite is a type of serpentine. So use the generalized word, but they don't have to have anything in them. They can just be a hollow tube that was formed from a mineral and then exolved or dissolved out in time, or many other things that can happen in that process. But the main driver you need to know, it is not definitive 100% that if your garnet has a horsetail inclusion, that it is from Russia, which for some reason, personally, you want something rare, get an Italian horsetail inclusion stone. Get an Iranian one. Get a Pakistani one. They're a lot more rare. Russian horsetail inclusions in the garnets are really nice and fine and beautiful and wonderful, but there's certainly enough of them in the market. Of course, maybe not as of late. So any ones are really probably prior to 5 years ago that are available. So a lot of it's just older material, but what you're getting is a lot of miners are actually doing alluvial mining in the streams below the Urals and finding some beautiful water-worn stones there that they're working from, and that's supplying or had been supplying the market with some of that material. So there's a little bit of information that we don't always get to talk about, but we did in this case, and I'm glad I did, hopefully clearing up any kind of misperceptions or conceptions of perceptions of what is and what isn't, and what is definitive and what is not. Okay, so when you said the Kokoda mines, it's definitely not that. I think what you would have meant if you heard a K word for mine related to garnet or andradite, it would have been the Coast Mine in Tenkawa Village in the Nara Prefecture of Japan. So Japan would have been a proper answer. And so let's see. Okay, so you did really well in answering those. Miss Cindy writes in, hello, Rock family. Such a good show. Love the new mineral introductions. Kudos to Miss Penny and Miss Barbara on doing so well in the What Is It last week, which they both did do so well. They each missed a separate item than from the other, but they each got 8 out of 9 items right. So I couldn't split that. So I gave them each the trivia gift of a diamond necklace. Yeah, a rough diamond crystal necklace. So it pays to play. Miss Indy goes on to say, she says, ferrocobaltite. Yep, had to add the cobaltoan calcite. Well done. Siderite. That's the one I was really looking for, that iron carbonate. Aluminum for number 2. And then on the localities, Quebec, which, yes, the Jeffrey mine, we definitely, let's see. Wait a second. Jeffrey mine, andradite. We had Jeffrey mine. We had Quebec, which was Jeffrey mine. I don't think we had any Quebec Jeffrey mine. It was Grossulars and Specialty. Okay. But let's see. You also say Arizona, China. We didn't. Iraq and Russia. So let me see. Did you get 4 in? You have the Iraq, okay, and the Russia. I don't think I really talked about Russia, but I'll accept that anyway. And on the Quebec, yeah, I think that was a near miss on that one. Enjoy the week, everybody. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. And heat wave today, up to 43 degrees. That would be almost a heat wave here as well, except for the last day. So well done there, Miss Cindy. Miss Barbara says, hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Unique, ultra colorful, and rare goodies this week. Krizanovskite, I think one of the geeks grabbed that one. Lovely iridescence and color in that specimen. With a name like that, I just had to look it up. I knew you would, Miss Barbara. I knew you would be drawn to that one. And I also figured you probably hadn't heard of it before. Mr. Brad had purchased some of the Argyle charcoal diamond crystal strands that I was curious about. Well, now I have one to examine and study myself. Thank you for the super prize for Miss Penny and me. Really enjoy stretching the old noggin for the what am I, and this time it really paid off for both of you. Yes, it did, and that's why I could not split it up and just roll the dice for one or the other of you to win. It had to be both. Miss Barbara, can you say, let me say welcome aboard to our newest participants. So nice to have new blood in our conversation in our family. As to the trivia, orange calcite. Really, Miss Barbara, are you playing the orange calcite for one of them? Sphero-cobaltite and cobaltian calcite. I don't know. I have to ask the judges on that one. If orange calcite, Miss Barbara, you could do better than that one. I mean, I guess I'll accept it, but come on. Aluminum, and then she goes on to say she gets the Coast Japan one. Stanley Butte, Arizona. And let me tell you something really funny. Christy, as Mr. Brad calls her, the Christie keeper, because she is the keeper of the inventory and enters and if you buy something, it passes over her desk. And actually, She is the one that does the high end packing, and then it goes to shipping to just what she packs to be packed and not to be undone. So she knows these. So first, she did the what am I, and she's never been a rock hound, never been involved, just been in inventory, and yet she takes an interest. Like she loved the spherocobaltite. One of her favorite colors is high quality sugilite, chrome diopside. So colorful things. So I had her do the what am I test. She got 5 out of 9 right. 5 out of 9. That was quite impressive for just someone from inventory to be able to do that well on those. But let me tell you, here's the funny thing. So she was entering because that specimen I showed last week, that I don't know who, but that Arizona androdite from Stanley Butte. Well, she was entering real quickly, and her eyes glanced past it, and before she could stop her fingers, she entered it as the way she thought it said. Now remember, the way the last of the word is pronounced, Butte is a butte. That's a flat, like mesa type formation, geologic formation. And these garnets are found in the region of what is known as Stanley Butte. She quickly read it and entered it, and then went back and proofread herself because she had typed Stanky Butte. So if you know the way Butte is spelled, you can imagine how that actually read. I laughed so hard before I could respond to her. She had to clock out, and I didn't get a response right back to her until she got home, and then we text, because I never, as many times as I've seen those two together, never did I put that it could be read that way, or that it could sound that way, or that the Raven didn't get a hold of it. Okay, I mean, she would have certainly nailed it as.
It would be the name of a moonstone mine instead of a sunstone.
Ah, that's great. That's great. Asif just said that should be the name of a moonstone mine. Moonstone mine instead of.
No, you move from mine.
Yeah, moonstone. I mean, nothing better than stanky, leave the E off the end of Butte.
I love the crap coming out of Stanky Butte.
Exactly. It's got some. Well, I better stop there because it'd be easy for me to go right sliding into that gutter. And this is a family-friendly show. But I tell you what, that was funny. That was really funny. So, and you know what? It's going to be hard for me to ever read those two together without thinking stanky. Yeah. Okay.
We probably have coprolite specimens.
Oh, coprolite specimens there. That goes right along with it. That goes right along with the things you can find at Stanky Butte. Coprolite.
They had to relocate it to the Djibouti mine.
Oh, another one. They had to relocate to the Ethiopian city and other mining area known as Djibouti. I tell you what, that's what makes this show fun for me, for Chuck, for Awesome. It's that. And I love the guys. If I could just mic them up and put them right here next to me. Mining humor, right.
You like mine humor?
You like mine humor. Boy, I tell you what, we are on a roll. And that's why, Asif shows. He did one this past Saturday. Great. You did one yesterday?
With mine.
Fantastic. Okay, so catch Asif where you can. Were you on the schedule where they can look you up?
No.
Okay, so you just dropped in. So he's a drop-in host, and on many other.
I just dropped.
Exactly.
Dropped it straight out the Djibouti mine.
You know what? If you'd have put that humor together, back with Alan. Many of you will have known Alan. He's the older gentleman, could have been referred to as the dirty old man of gem shopping, hosting. Great sense of humor. Which was his downfall. But no, great guy. I still talk to him. And Alan, super guy.
The best thing he said was, watch how those lines, just watch the legs, follow those legs all the way up to the asteroid.
Did he really? Are you kidding me? Yeah, no, I know exactly. Okay. Oh my gosh. Another line I have never thought of. Okay, so since you said that, in case no one heard what Asif just said, that Alan was known to have said on the air.
Oh yeah, but that means that's real. It's description.
Wow, it is. It is genuine description. So what he said, and knowing Alan, it wasn't intentionally said. He didn't come up with his head of time. It was just he really.
Yeah.
Well, maybe after the fact, or maybe during the fact. He said all you have to. He was showing a star sapphire. All you have to do is follow the legs up right to the asterism. Wow.
And experience the asterism.
And experience the asterism.
Yeah. Follow
Those fine legs and experience the asterism. Wow. In this star sapphire. That you know what? That might have been the line that I was told he said a line and was not told to me the line that he said that crossed the line. Yeah. Okay. God bless Alan. Love the guy. Love the guy. And what a lovely wife, Barbara. How she has put up with that man, I don't know. But what the, you know, all these years, I've never even thought of those lines. Mining humor, gem humor. I don't know where to go from here. Okay, let's see. Let's wrap it up. Let's get to we have I think Miss Karen left here and Miss Penny. Okay, Miss Karen in Texas. Bing bang bong. Oh, that's a good follow-up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is my face turning red? Okay, we're gonna be right down the Grateful Dead line of humor here. Okay, bing bang bong. I am still out here. It's such a delight watching your shows. Due to the happenings, I haven't been able to participate to my fullest with comments and trivia. We'll make up for it. But look out, I'll be back soon. Can't wait. Quick note before I head out. Thank you for my last win, the Madeira Citring, which I snagged at the last minute of offering for our first show with Asif. By the way, it was a beauty. Wow, let me tell you, it was my privilege of being on the phone at the right time. It was such a joy. Listen to this, Asif, what she wrote. Back to that show. It was such a joy. While I was on the phone, I was able to hear in the background clapping, cheering, wows, and wahoos. A sign all agreed the show was a huge success. That's what I said. I have so much to say, but unfortunately not the time to properly write my words. I'll be back. Oh, congrats on the 11,000 subscribers. Thank you, Miss Karen in Texas. Very, very sweet. Now, we have Miss Penny, and it's funny, Miss Penny, she is always the last one right before the deadline. Oh, and by the way, make sure no one misses the deadline. So, you know, you have to send it to me by like 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Thursday morning. On Thursday mornings. Okay, so here we have, and then we're going to get to so many goodies, you're not going to believe it. And okay, Miss Penny. Hello, Shawn, the very lovely Raven, amazing GSN crew, and fellow rockhounds. I hope this finds everyone well. Trivia number 1, siderite, ferrocobaltite. What a specimen. Oh, yes, and regarding this ferrocobaltite, I'm not sure if this particular person is a member of the Geeks. I don't think so, but I have to say that there is a Epicurean of mineral specimens amongst my all of you, and this gentleman has been poaching some of the best deals for about 7 or 8 years now, and I can't thank him enough for playing a part of the show. I don't announce names or people unless they say so ahead of time. Even if I know who they are, but I do know this, that he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, and he knows a bargain when he sees one. And I'll just say this: I was told that it was the gentleman that also got that extremely fine, large, probably largest you'll see, rutile specimen from Graves Mountain. And then I understand that he got this ferrocobaltite. And really rare, and both at a wonderful, wonderful discount. So I'm really glad to see that there are those out there, besides just the one names I'm familiar with, that know their specimens and know the value that they're getting on purchasing them. So I thank you, all of you, for your support. Whether it's like I said at the beginning of the show, a $25 sale or a $2,500 sale or more, I am most grateful and can't say that enough. Okay, so let's get back. Siderite, sphericobaltite, and then, of course, for whoever got that specimen, she puts in parentheses, what a specimen with 1, 2, 5 exclamation points behind it. Then she writes cobaltoite. Okay, so trouble saying it because there's no such thing, Miss Penny, but I know what you meant as well, except, cobaltoin or cobaltion, it can be said either way. You have to put calcite after it if you use it that way. Cobaltite, now not cobaltoite. Okay, so there's always a difference. Cobaltoite, there's no such thing, but cobaltite, there actually is. So it's still not a carbonate. So what it is a carbonate cobalt arsenic sulfide. So just a little extra info there. I knew the red druzy-like crystals looked familiar. They look like my specimen. So on the cobaltoin calcite. Yep. Aluminum, interesting. I would have thought that aluminum would color a specimen white, not brownish. It all has to do with how it interacts with the other minerals and color centers. Okay, number 3, Russia, Namibia, Japan, U.S., Arizona. You mentioned so many countries for garnets, so I was trying to remember which one were androdite, and that makes the important. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. You have 4 there, but you know what? The one that is amazing that no one mentioned, Madagascar. I show specimens from it. I had shown one, and no one mentioned Madagascar. That was amazing. Welcome to the Rock family, Miss Rachel and Mr. Jim. Faves of the week, that spectacular sphericobaltite, followed by the Fadden aqua and the lazulite siderite piece. Wow, wow, wow. I am amazed that I got 8 of 9 on my favorite game. That's the What Am I game. Everybody loves that. I have to say that I'm extremely pleased that I can hold my own against geologists, lapidaries, principals, etc., and so many of your other rock hounds that are so well versed and educated on rocks and minerals. I would never have gotten the rutile. My other educated guess would have been galena, which would have been another great answer. Not guess. Remember, we don't guess, we answer. I always had an interest in rocks when I was little and in my teens that I let things fall by the wayside and started back up again with your live show. My interest has deepened in the last decade or so. Thank you for your generosity as usual and giving both Miss Barber and me such a wonderful gift. I splurged and bought the lazulite and siderite specimen with the chrysonoskite. See, I don't even have to look at it to know how to pronounce it and remember how it's pronounced and said. Chrysonoskite. Yeah, you'll be the only one on the block with one of those, I can assure you. Let's see. So that's neat to know that it wound up on the other side of your wonderful grand country that I hope stays yours. You know, Canada, from, anything from the Yukon, that whole area, Dawson, what an amazing place. And the story of exactly how that particular deposit was found, mentioned last week, which was pretty interesting in itself. Miss Penny, for all those who don't know, lives in Quebec, so the other end of Canada. Now, I have been to both ends, actually, Victoria and Quebec and all around there. So beautiful stuff. And so it's neat to see that that's another Canadian specimen for you to chalk up. Now, there is also a Yukon and a Dawson, Alaska side, but it's the Canadian side that is better known and the one that holds the amazing Rapid Creek material. I wanted the sphericobaltite or Fadden aqua instead, but already gone on Wednesday. And that's what happens. So, yeah, but that's okay, Miss Penny. I think you scooping up that piece that you did, that was a one to have, for anybody to have. And then especially for you, I think that that's appropriate and beautiful color. Now it's time to complain a little. What? A complaint? What? For me? No. Winter should go away effective immediately. Okay. You can complain about winter, but I'm not ready for it to go away. I don't like the Georgia summers. It took its sweet time getting here, so I have a feeling it will probably take forever to disappear. It started snowing at Christmas, then we got several milder days with lots of precipitation and rain and freezing rain, so the 8 inches of snow melted. It has been cold and snowy for the last 4 weeks. Oh, cool. I'm ducking, throwing stuff at me. When it's colder than minus 17 degrees Celsius or so, it doesn't really snow, but it has been hovering between -5, and -15, -25 to -30 with the wind chill. So cold enough for it to snow and get freezing rain with the milder temperatures. Time to move down to Aruba or somewhere around there. No, there's no good rocks in Aruba, only some calcites. That's it for now. We wish everyone a wonderful week and hope to see you soon. Penny and Mahali from Quebec. Okay, so we have covered everybody. Now, let me see. I had to grade on a curve this week because of some, well, it would be me being particular. But I tell you what, since everybody I had to bend a little bit, this week I rolled the dice. And it came up the winner as Miss Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Congratulations to you. Everyone I gave a little bend of the curve to, but yours was probably closest overall to getting it right. And the roll of the dice picked you. So that is 2 affirmations. Let's show you what you have won, because it is something that I haven't had one ever before of. It is really unique, and this color is, when you see it, really indicative of the origin and Madagascar. Now, if you see like the color in the corner of Gem Shopping Network, that deeper, richer blue, those are the Brazilian material. But this color, oh, I did not just see what I saw. That looked like it was a cat's eye that passed by there. This is an amazing, unique, rare cab, actually, of iris apatite, basically. So it has a really beautiful iris in it when you catch it right. But, hold on. Let me put the black background behind here, because I am seeing probably why I had kept this one and took it out of the inventory, because I noticed this before but didn't note the bag. And now that I'm seeing it, hold on, let me look at this. There is, cat's eye appetite is a thing, and there is such a thing. And it doesn't always have to go lengthwise with the C-axis. It can go perpendicular to it. And if you look, that's exactly what you have there. That's exactly what you have there. That is a cat's eye. And I only noticed that when it spun around, and I could see it when Chuck gets it in focus. I could see it getting ready right now. You see that wave that passed over it, that almost indiscernible wave. You'll see it again here. Let's see what it looks like from this side. And that's all it took for someone that knows what to look for and how to spot. There it is right there. Boom. Right there. Yeah. Anyway, free. Congratulations. Okay. With a little grr on that one. What a neat piece. Iris, cat's eye, unique color, cabochon. Wow. And free. Can't beat that. Congratulations to you, Miss Cindy. We'll be right back with the star of the show. Now, don't everybody go running to the phone at once, because I know you're going to. This is one I have had for a number of years, and I wouldn't even be offering it now, except that I'm going to attempt to get some more. I have, there's going to be some more. Now, what quality they'll be, I'm not quite sure. This one we have had in our personal collection for some time. And obviously, you can see with the chevron pattern too, and that's what they call that pattern in amethyst. Of course, chevron, just like the name Chevron oil, has that same, and chevron for a sergeant's are called chevrons, for the military use of designating rank, use, corporal, private. It's all that V shape. and hence the name. So there's so many powerful positive aspects to this piece that I could go on and on. I think you can see it yourself though. So you have this one pattern. You have basically it's almost like a phantom within a phantom, because you then have another chevron pattern. So as they carved out the material, because this is a bowl made out of one piece, and remember, how many times do you think that they get to a point and then it naturally fractures along one of the crystal planes or the inclusion lines, etc. And it's completely naturally not one of like my fake polishes, but a real, genuine lapidary polish that they've created on this piece. Now, when I was looking at this, here is where it all starts, right there. Look at that perfect hexagonal center crystal. And from there, as the crystal grew outwards, it formed what would have been multiple chevrons. And so as the bowl extends in width, you actually carve into those different layers. And right here, you can, that's actually a good view to count, can see them and even count them. So you have your center one, you have a layer there, another one there, another one there, and one out there. So anyway, this is not what all of them are going to look like. This is what a special one looks like. $88 on that. Look at that. Look at how polished and how well made that is. That can just spin like a top. Look at how the balance to that and how concentric that is. That is an amazing item. Now, you know what I found? What I found in this? Yeah. So crumbs. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you've been listening to the show for a while. Crumbs is the word designated by the Raven for all the little pieces of leftover crystals that might fall off or in the bottom of a box and things like that. And she's claimed those along with the, what she called the butts, not buttes, but close, the butts of specimens. When I would saw up specimens, the very last end piece. And she had a box of those. And so I have started cleaning black some of those. Anyway, that color purple is about as rich of a purple, put it this way. If purple is one of most people's favorite colors. There's actually different shades of purple and different levels of gray in it or blue. This purple in this, especially the color that's coming around in a moment, is to me, I rank this as like grape jelly purple, sugar-like purple. Some of the best quality purple that I personally like is those shades. Anyway, only $88 on that jewel. That's the only one I have to offer you right now. Okay, so why we have we have done a variety of things. And this week, you know what I'm going to get into? I'm going to get into some really unique, fun, cool gemstones plus mineral specimens. Let's look at item 1245, 225. 1245, 225. Now, what I'm getting ready to show you, I don't think you've ever seen. And these are sale priced. And these are sale priced, and they were mined and carved a long time ago. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to put that here. Let me just turn this off, get tweezers ready, and look at this. Look at this. Straight from what was really old stock, carved fish. Now, let me bring this over a little bit. Actually, do a couple things here because I want to backlight this. That's what I want to show you. That's what I want to show you right there. So look at that. Tell me, look at the mouth. Look at that. Look at it. I had 14 aquariums at one time, divided between salt and fresh water. So I know all about beautiful tropical fish from both realms. This is from Horse Gully alluvials, and these were mined in the 80s. This is old material. And what came out of those alluvials in New South Wales, Australia. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Australia, it doesn't have states, it has territories. And New South Wales is the territory that Sydney and the capital Canberra are in. So Yeah, thanks for keeping up with that. Uh, it's the most populated area, but it actually is very mineralized, including having Lightning Ridge as part in the very corner of it as part of its claim to fame. The territory is right next south of Queensland, of course, where Boulder opal comes from. So look at this. Look at the way the colors were used to carve a three-dimensional. See, this has been carved on both sides. Sapphire out of the natural colors. So this will not have been heat treated because you would not get the division of colors that they were actually wanting in the carving of these fish. So um, when they didn't generally heat treat well is probably why. They left a lot of these, what they call party colors. And I have sold and did really well with a lot of them. And over the years when I had my jewelry store and whatnot, in working with the materials. So anyway, okay. Now the sale on these, regardless of weight, I have a couple that are going to be the same price, $88. $88, almost 7 carats. You're talking about what? Less than $13 a carat or so. And let me hold it in my hand so you get an idea of the size. And there you have it. Look at that. They can be wire wrapped or, just put in one of the suspension display boxes, which would make it look really good considering that they're double-sided. Now, cheapo me, I'm offering these at such an inexpensive price. I can't throw in the box, but I'm giving you the way the way it could look in one, and the way it could be displayed. It's easy to backlight things like that, and it takes minimal lighting. So look at that, and then getting to see both sides. So let me just sit that there for a moment while I bring out the next item of the show. And the next item of the show is going to be item number, and it is for sale, on sale, $12.45, $125, $12.45, $125, and it gets us another tropical fish. Now, I had more of these like a decade ago, and I sold them off. These were actually labeled as ravens. Okay, so don't say anything. But what is she going to do with them? I thought, no, I'm going to share these with all of y'all. I kept one. She didn't need a school of them. She actually wrote on the bag, School of Ravens Fish. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Check this one out. Check this one out. Price is going to be the same. Look at this guy. Been eating well. Let me look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look on that face. He looks like he missed a meal, a little grumpy there. But this is what is so beautiful about these being carved into what they were perfect for, a multicolored tropical fish. And wow, look at that. Double-sided. Of course, he's upside down at the moment, but double-sided. So you have 3 colors. You're looking at blue and yellow basically, but the mixing of the two gives you the green. So you have blue, yellow, and green. And it's neat the way the carvers actually had to work with the crystal and the way they located some of the colors, using them like this in particular, the blue for the tail. And then that other striped area for just the, look at that. Very much like the real tropical fish. And look at the clarity. The clarity, it's kind of surprising that they didn't facet these. But when you look, there were a lot of alluvials from this particular location in these colors found at that time. So maybe it was just that there was an overflow of quantity that they didn't know what else to do with them and thought carving them as a school of fish would be a great idea. Believe me, these would sell for a lot more, even wholesale. If I took, but I don't have enough. I mean, in other words, I could take these out to the big show and make money, get more than I am now for them, but it's not worth it unless I had hundreds of them. Okay, let me show you something that takes these a step even further in the jaw-dropping nature of the item. $12.45, 325, 1245, 325. And you're thinking, well, what would make it any bigger? Big? No, not bigger doesn't make it necessarily better. Sticking with the same size. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. And relative to what the difference in the actual cost would be, these would be much more valuable. They weigh more, so they should cost more, but there's something else that should make them cost much more. And I bet you can probably see it right about now. And it's not just the fact that you have blue sapphire, it's the fact that the blue sapphire is in the form of a perfect crystal. And I'll point it out better to you. Well, you can see the 6 sides right there. Nothing much needs to be pointed out to you right there. This is where I'm talking about where the carver can make a difference in the piece as far as the uniqueness of it. So you have a incredibly well-defined, perfect blue sapphire crystal in the middle of the other colors around it. Now, let me try one more thing here, kind of just experimenting. So go with me, Chuck. Let me put the light right behind this and this particular light. Let me just see. Okay, that I just wanted to enhance some of the blue, and you can see the richness. There we go, and the clarity. Look at the clarity in the tail, and wow, look at the clarity in the blue. With it, the gills, or I mean, the scales being carved as part of it, it kind of masks some of that. That's why I was adding light to the light, so you could really get a feel for just look at that. That's just amazing. It is. So I know it's cool. That is really, really cool. And so this one, I mean, I am talking about it's not like you can just go find more of these. There's no more material coming out being mined there. This was old material when there was a lot of alluvial mining going on in New South Wales in different areas for corundum, and with limited success. This area of Horse Gully never really produced fine blues or fine yellows. It produced party colors like this. Never enough of one or the other to develop a high end, like blue sapphire kind of production. And some of these and other areas were mined, some of the corundum crystals were mined strictly as a byproduct of placer or alluvial gold mining. So, and they were just ended up with the heavy sands and the heavy minerals because of the specific gravity of corundum is heavy, so it winds up down in the bottom. All right, price on this one. It weighs more, so it should be more, but it's really priced more due to that really cool internal crystal. That really cool internal crystal that makes it a one-of-a-kind jewel. $128. $128. So what does that make it? What's the 9.23? Less than $15 a carat? Really? So it doesn't matter how much a carat, 12, 13, 15, 20, anything like that is so far below where the value should be that it doesn't matter whether it's 12 or 13 or 15 a carat. Let me show you another one. Item number 124, 54, 25. 124, 54, 25. This is the last one of the school of fish that I have to show you. And let me put this up here because I can't mix up my fish. Okay, now, which I was getting ready to do with this next one. I think if I remember right, it has another OMG moment. And let me get it locked up in the tweezers here for you. Let's just drop it right. Oh, it's trying to swim away from me. That's the nice thing about corundum. You can drop it and not worry about it. Not like an opal. Well, I'm glad I just said that. That was a flying fish. I got in one of Asif's. Yeah, that would have been one of Asif's lines. Okay. I'm usually not that funny. Asif is. All right, check this guy out. Look at this guy. Yeah, look at the big crystal. There's the big blue sapphire crystal in it. And let me turn this and we'll show it to you. Okay, so this crystal is actually so big, you have to extrapolate it out a little bit beyond its belly. We'll look at what it looks like on the other side. Other than that, look at the beautiful green and the yellows. And again, with zoning in sapphire, it is always really effective when you want it to be zoned, because the zoning in sapphires follow the exact crystal form. So you can see there's another little bluish line here, or greens and yellows, and they will follow the original center zoning lines of the original crystal. Let's flip this guy over, and then let's backlight him properly. Let me angle that just a wee bit differently. Okay, and you can see just how large the 6 sides, let me get it nose to tail here, that this big blue sapphire crystal would have been originally. That's just it. I wonder what some of the original crystals look like, because I think it would have been neat to own one. Okay, here. Look at this one for the moment while I take this one out of the shot, put it in my hands, and the old-fashioned way. And sometimes, you just cannot substitute with anything other than fingers. Raw fingers, not gloved fingers, just raw. So if this goes flying somewhere, well, then, okay, look at this. Let's see and let me get this speck of other valuable mineral out of the way. All right. Look at this. This guy has a large, beautiful color, and you can see, so just count this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have 5 and 6. So the other side getting a little confused down there with the tail at the bottom. But you can see how they kept the blue actually around it, just wanting to keep as much of that sapphire as possible. This is only $118. So 2 at 88, 2 at, $128. $128, sorry. 2 at 88, 2 at 128. The ones with the big sapphire crystals in the middle of them, well, you could expect they might cost a little bit more, but actuality of it is the fact that they also weigh more. So, and of course, these would have been sold by weight at the time as well. So how neat is that? So get the one you want. Let me clean up this turntable. I'll be right back. Have something here I haven't shown you in a while. I have been sitting on these, and I thought, okay, haven't done gemstones in a while, but I do have some special gemstones, as a lot of you are aware of, and a lot of you have been scooping up as well. Look at this, purple Tanzanian spinel. And this is one of the most attractive, I guess, baguettes, really, because it's not an 8-sided emerald cut, but it is step cut, as they call it. Like emerald cuts, and the same way baguettes are cut. There's just a long baguette. Look at that, 10 by 4, almost a carat at 93 points. And we were actually trying to wipe this down a little better, because it actually is very clean. You can see the dust on it. That's dust. That is dust. You can see the dust on the back. I'll find something here in a moment. But anyway, have a lot to do. So let me get to this one and get to pricing it to sell. You know what a price on that to sell looks like? It looks like $37. I kid you not. $37. Now, spinels, hardness of 8, wonderful gem. Been confused with corundum and ruby for, well, hundreds and hundreds of years. And they're either from Burma for the most part, or they're from Tanzania. I happen to know where mine are from. Many people will just want to say Burma because it sounds good. Well, that's not always the right thing to do. The right thing to do, sell them from where they're from. Either place, a spinel is a fantastic gemstone. Check out this next one. Item 124, 4025. 124, 4025. Now, let me just give you a quick look in the gem tube so you know relative to the size of a gem tube. Look at that. Okay, so now that you see what's coming up, wait till you see this in person, because I have to say that until recently, with the discovery of the Mahenge pink spinels, that really drove and up the market, and people really found and learned about spinel more so than when spinels were coming from Burma, because there was enough that it made it into the markets on television, such as Gem Shopping Network. We were one of the ones that made spinel what it is and brought you some of the finest, most valuable spinels, and still have one. You want to see a fine one? Next time Oscar has a show, ask him to show you the Vietnamese spinel, the 20 carats he's been featuring. That is a stunning stone. Here's a fantastic stone. So it's a modified Portuguese cut on the pavilion, the bottom part of the stone, and you can see that by the multiple rows of those 16 facets going around like that, different than a regular brilliant cut oval. This stone at a carat 69, again, make sure you overlook the dust from everywhere, because I was just telling Chuck, wintertime is bad. We all know that about static electricity. Gemstones tend to develop their own static electricity, as we know, quartz, etc., have an electrical field. Well, in the wintertime, that just is enhanced. So it can draw in all these little microparticles that can be troubling to those of us that try to make our stone look so pristine and perfect for you on TV. So now, this stone being a large oval and purple being one of the very desirable colors in spinel, as well, of course, in corundum. How about this? $84. That is less than, or right at $50 a carat. $50 a carat. Now, go look this up. Go look and see how much they're asking for a purple spinel. Look at the clarity. And you will hurry to pay that for that stone. That is stunning. Now, I am going to show a more faceted spinels, but before that, let me show you something that gives you an idea of what does spinel look like from Mother Nature. Item 124, 4325. 124, 4325. Now, look at these. These, let me tell you, I love native crystals of different specimens. And I love to do before and after kind of presentations where you have a faceted stone of the same thing, where you have a crystal of it in the rough. This is one of the best examples of true Burma spinel. And I have had these for a long time. Now, if you noticed, if you're reading the graphic at the bottom, RPO, that's for me more than anything, so I know what was in the parcel, and it stands for the colors: red, purple, and orange, or as close to them as I can describe them. Here is the key. The measurements you see are of the largest stone. There's not room to put in the measurements of all, so all I need was the largest. Look at the size of that in my fingers. You can be your own judge. Look at that crystal. That is a perfect octahedral crystal. Spinel hardness of 8 belongs to the isometric crystal system, the same crystal system as diamond. And one of the most common forms you'll get is a bipyramidal or dipyramidal or octahedron. They're all the same name for what you're looking at right there. And boy, is that a gem. Let me get the other light here and give you a little enhanced look at the color, the actual, some of the actual color. Can't find my other favorite flashlight. You guys know the one at the moment. Probably because I used it somewhere else I shouldn't have been doing. Hold on. That's not working. And I'm such a stickler about this. Here we go. Let's do this. All right. Different wavelengths of light also will bring out different colors. So most of what they call the red spinel, there is a pure red, but many reds have a little secondary orange to it. But you can see that this is in the world of spinel coming out of Burma, that is really a facet grade because it is facetable even with the inclusions and has value. But by far, the crystal version of it is stunning. Leave it like that. Look at the purple. Look at the purple. Now, one of the ways, besides knowing the origin of them from way back, but one of the other ways you know something is Burma is if it looks like it has been water worn. Not always, doesn't have to be. You can saw that reddish one. They can come straight out from the marbles that they're found in still, but most of the Mogok spinels and corundums are alluvial or from river gravels or ancient river gravels. Now, when I say river gravels, you might be thinking, oh, they're panning in a river. No, it could be a rice field. And they dig down to where the current river gravels were way back when the river cut through the original deposits and carried the material downstream and water wore over eons of time. So you get those water-worn edges. You're not going to find that in Tanzanian material. So there's your one sign right there that it is Burma. Plus, then look at the clarity of that piece. That is, you could just put that on a dot and facet a beautiful stone. Let me show you a unique color that is also facet grade. Look at this orange. Look at that orange. That is a really desirable color. And to have it in a crystal form, not having been already faceted, remember, you know, most everything is worth more cut than it is as a crystal. Look at the clarity to that. Look at the clarity. And that looks like a really cool crystal in crystal. So that's the other thing. You can get some really neat crystallization of other minerals, not only in sapphires, but in the spinels as well. And that might be what that is. But you can see that's a nice water-worn piece right there. Look at the color in that. All right, so if I just let those spin there for a minute, the light will do what I need it to do. And that is just to show you how beautiful Mother Nature is. You know, that orange one almost looks like it is bisected by another crystal, a partial twinning. Or is it I think it's an old sidecar crystal that has just been water worn down. Wow. All right. Parcel of all three. You're going to love it. Only $117, because that makes them only $25 a carat. That one large crystal from Burma being red is easily worth that alone. And when I see these things on the internet for these red crystals, Burma, yeah, red Burmese, you know, bipyramidal crystals, and they're inexpensive. They're cheap. But when you go to look, you'll find, okay, so we have 3 stones here. They average, I mean, they're 4.70 carats, so they average over 1.5 carats each. Average. The smallest one, I don't know what it weighs, but it can't be that much. So I looked at some yesterday. It was a parcel, and it was like 8 to 10 stones per carat was one offering. Then it was even more per carat. These stones were little itty bitty. And then there was the most expensive choice was 3 to 4 stones for a carat's worth, and that's what they were selling them by 1 carat. Could you go buy 3 stones that weighed 4.70 carat of 3 different colors? No. There was no other choice in colors except what they think that people want, which is just the reds and the pinks and the hot pinks. No, I would much prefer a mixed color variation, which is a perfect representation of the different colors from Burma. Yeah, reds may be some of the most valuable color, but if you are a collector, you don't collect just one specific color. You collect all the colors of one specific type material from one. You can get as specific as one location, but you don't collect just red spinels from just Mogok from Burma. No, you want to fan out, and because if nothing else, aesthetically, it looks so much prettier to have the mix of colors. So only $117 there. Now, let me show you item 124, 46.25. 124, 46.25. And I like to be able to try to divide things up so that there's something for everybody by way of price. So I put together this parcel of 4 stones, and let me, I'll fix that in just a moment. Let me put these others away. If I do not do that, we don't want to mix them up. Okay, so with these, you get the 4 different colors, and that's the most that I actually have. So I call that an orange, but it may be a little orangey pink. Actually, that's more like a Podporacha spinel color. Look at the, and mind you, the clarity, real important compared to other things. Look at that. Look at the clarity on this jewel. Look at that beauty. Look at how, look at that. Oh, wow. And then we have the purple, and let me show you that, or purplish. And then here's a rare one, the pink. And you know what? It almost feels like you're messing with diamonds, because diamonds are found in the same crystal habit. And I mean, that could look like a pink diamond. Look at the clarity of that. That is absolutely facettable, ready, good to go. Okay, so these 4 pieces with a total weight of 2.80. Oh, wait. Did I make sure I give you the right item number? Because that shouldn't say 124 46.25. Can you just remove Star of David off of that, please? Okay, so these were mined during the same period, and the colors in the description I have is what the initials mean at the end. So you have 4 different colors here, and the price of these, all 4, only $68. Only $68. Again, that beautiful red one, worth it alone. So yeah, that, look at how pretty that is. Look at how pretty. Now, before I go on, you know, I'll tell you what, I'll finish with these. Item number 124, 44.25. 124, 44.25. And when these are gone, there's not going to be any others. This is the last of these really unique crystals. And they go back so far in time. The multicolors, you can get the little reds and the little pinks, but when you go to try to find the multicolors, no. Again, here we have, look at this, look at this. So of course you can see some are alluvial, some not so water worn. Look at the color of that orange one. That's look at that. I mean, that's like one of those Hessonite gems. And then, of course, really fine, beautiful pink. No, lavender, I guess, kind of a lavender. Yeah, lavender purple on that. Look at the red. Did you see that richness? You know, wow. There we go. Look at that, and the clarity. And then here's the other cool thing. Look at how perfect the symmetry of it is, and even the tumbling, the alluvial action. See how flat that face actually is? It's difficult in a tumbler to get a even finish like that at home in your homemade tumbler, let alone in a stream where most everything is softer than spinel. Look at that beautiful, beautiful pink. You know, just 4 great representations of spinel from the very famous Mogok area, where, of course, your really nice uh, rubies are come from as well. So anyway, I have all 4 of these pieces, which is a 3.18 total weight. So let's, you know what? Only $77. Only $77. So the real unique factor is that you have the multiple colors, and those very well defined crystal shapes. They're just so attractive. And for those of you with tumblers, you could actually tumble out those other alluvial pieces without wearing them down any further, and tumble them to a level of polish, to where they're polished. That would be really attractive if you're into being or have a tumbler and wanting to try something like that. But if unsure, always better just to leave well enough alone. All right, let me see. This is the last one of the crystals. Item 124 4725. 124 4725, or last of the crystal parcels, I should say, because there's one individual one that I want to feature after this. Here we go. Look at this. Here is a 3 crystals. Now, there's one different than the others, quite obvious. Let me put these away, then we'll get to that. Now, being isometric, you might remember our lesson from when I showed diamond crystals and had the little macles. A macle belongs still to the same crystal system, but it's where it grows flat. I guess that's the best way to say it. It still has the 8 sides, but the isometric sides to it, but is in this form, often twinned. In other words, often 2 crystals put together. So let me try to show you some of the really beautiful clarity to this particular macle. And they're called the same thing, whether they're, you know, a spinella or a diamond. So let me see here. If I quit this from spinning, it probably would help me a little. Okay, let me get the light behind this, and then, or 2 different things here, clarity and the color. So there we go. There you have both. So it's like an orangey cinnamon, and there is just a little surface kind of inclusion, it looks like there. But it is a, this has so much clarity, such good clarity to it, that I think I can put that right behind it. If I turn the light on. Well, you know, okay, here we go. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, you can see just straight through that. That's what I wanted to show you. Don't go by the color that you see there. It's being distorted, but the clarity is what I wanted to point out. That stone could be docked up and faceted straight away, just as it is. There's the actual color. There's the perfect color, that cinnamon color. That's the color it is. Let's look at this. Let's look at this jewel. Look at that. I mean, and it looks like it's been faceted, but this is the way Mother Nature has grown these crystals. How? Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Look at that. And, you know, when you find them, they're often in like marble against a white background, and they are so striking. The specimens can get quite expensive, just depending on the quality of the material. And that's why the same thing, these crystals go far beyond the normal quality that you see any of them being offered in, because you can see that the clarity absolutely is along the quality for faceting. Look at that. Look at that. And then here's the other little guy. Look at the beautiful reddish orange. What a parcel of 3 gems. And at what I'm offering these for, it should be an easy decision. An easy decision. Price on these 3. Let's see. So, the reason why you see me using the word Burma, if any of you are are curious why I'm not using Myanmar. Well, Burma was named Burma for the Burman people. I've been to Burma. I've crossed over and had to walk to the nearest Burma city after surrendering my passport at the Thai border, because that way they know you're coming back out. You're not allowed to drive in. I walked, it was like 2 kilometers to the nearest town, all downhill. And it was quite the experience. And actually, I think some of these spinels are actually from when I bought them. Anything red is sold as ruby. It doesn't matter. Garnet, spinel, and if you don't know your gemstones, believe me, you're going to be sold a ruby that's not a ruby, because they think you're there for rubies because they know that's what Americans think Burma is known for, jade and ruby. So you get all this white and greenish material that is sold as jade. Well, it's not. I didn't argue with them when they said we're trying to claim spinels and garnets. I just bought them for what I knew their actual worth was for what they are. But that's the key. You have to know what they truly are so you can negotiate to the price. Other than that, they're going to walk away laughing behind your back and knowing that they took another for wrong, a Westerner, to the cleaners. And so I just let them call them whatever they wanted. When I was in Burma, I knew what they were, so I negotiated them for down to that value for what they actually were. And it was fun. It was fun. They expect you to trade. That's the way they do business with fellow Burmans and the fellow Burmese people. So here's the deal. I'm still using Burma, as does most Westerners, and by Westerners, I mean the UK, the British and the United States do not recognize the military junta that changed the name from Burma to Myanmar in 1989. In 1989. So when the military junta, who we're still don't recognize as the government of Burma, took over, they changed it to Myanmar. Well, these stones were mined during the time that Myanmar was called Burma. So I thought it was a great way to distinguish these being from the 1980s, because it wasn't until 1989. And I already knew these were mined in 80s. I've known their provenance for a long time. I had these crystals a long time. I knew their provenance and when they were mined. But that's why in the choice between using Myanmar or Burma, I chose Burma because of the time they were mined and because it is what the United States uses to officially recognize Burma as Burma. We don't recognize it as Myanmar. There's a little history along with some beautiful, beautiful gems. At 3.15 carat, these 3 jewels, I can offer them these, so they're going to average 3 stones a carat. And we have 1 extra color up there. We don't have the pink. That's just from before. So just know that there's 3 stones, 3.15 carat. And all 3 of these, even though they're larger on average and the quality, I'm still going to offer them for a, how about this? $88. $88 for the 3. Only $88 for the 3. Now, I have something here that is off the charts. Small but mighty. Item 124, 4525. 124, 4525. And this is one of the rarest forms of twinning you're going to find. And normally, spinel will twin in a mackle, one aligned just same triangle shape as the other, except it'll be slightly skewed. It'll just won't lay directly on top of it. It'll lay a little bit to the side. But there is no doubting when you see this type of twinning. It is called the Star of David twin, a very rare form of twin. Wow, that's cool. Look at that. That stands up on its own. Those of you who know me, I really like it when it does that. The Star of David, twinned just like there's a name for one of a common type of twin. They give different types of twins different names. There's a spinel law twin. In other words, look it up if you want to see what a spinel law twin looks like. It does not look like this. It's where to be a twin, it can be called a twin if two crystals share the same plane, share a similar plane to each other. And as you can see, the plane you have here that they're sharing is one entire flat surface, is the bottom of one and the top or the bottom of the other, depending on how you want to look at it. But they are turned directly, instead of lined one on top of the other, they are turned just enough to create the outline of a Star of David. Let me see if I can pick these up so you can see the entire twinned form, which is one of the rarest types of twinning there is. Let me quit chasing this thing. And there we go. There we go. That's your Star of David twin right there. One of the most collectible and sought after forms of twinning, and disregard the dust. I know that bugs Ossiphus, bugs me. All I did was move it around. And more so. So anyway, look at this. Look at this. I think you get the idea. Hold on, let me get the color. There we go. There we go. You can see the color. You can actually see some angles better than before, and then look into the mirrored reflection. So the clarity is fantastic. And if you go and look at these twins, many of the twins have like a additional, I'm just going to use the word skin for lack of a better word, additional material in between some of the points, and it takes away the Star of David effect, making it less desirable. This one does not have those type of additional growth that you'll see. So this is a sensational, very unique type of twin. Actually, the more I look at this, the more unusual it's becoming, as far as all the shared faces, which you can actually see. And when you see right through it, you can see that it's just, there's not a separate plane in between. Anyway, that's a really collector's jewel. And I'm offering it, I'm sure, so far below what I saw a couple of, well, one of the primary dealers had one, and it was the same size, and it was multiples more than what I'm asking for this piece. $118, only $118. And so let me put it for a moment against this white gem tube for a moment, and maybe you can, it'll help you be able to see. Yeah, that actually helps. I probably should have just left it. How you can see, let me flip it over again. This is one of my pride and joys for of my crystal collection, is actually this one particular, look at, there we go. There's your Star, David. One particular type twin piece. Really special. Really special. Take advantage of that guy. That is a rarity. Okay, now let's finish up with my special spinel presentation here. Item 124, 4225. Now, this next stone I'm going to show you, I'm just going to be honest. I actually went looking for comparables, and I really didn't find anything that wasn't insanely priced. This is blue Mogok Burma spinel. Look at how it lacks any gray. This is not your cobalt blue. So remember, cobalt blue is one of the most overused descriptions of a blue color I have seen. If anyone actually uses that term, knows what a true cobalt blue is, they would feel embarrassed at what they call cobalt blue. The cobalt blue spinels, you just have to look up. They're from Vietnam, almost all of them. Is one of the most stunning blues I've ever seen. So you have to look it up. I couldn't even begin to describe it. But let me tell you, it's not this color. And I see that word used for this color. And it's not. Now, let me show you. Spinel is a magnesium aluminum silicate in its regular life, right? Not something that would be magnetic in all normal cases. But let me show you this. Okay, so you can see it's called not quite a drag response. It's not a pickup response. It's a light drag response. But you can see easily that there is a magnetic function to it. That is a plus. That's one of the ways, things that it should have in determining it. Of course, the refractive index is a huge difference between sapphire and spinel. So it's easy to separate the two if you have a refractometer. This color is sensational, And when I went to looking up prices of blue spinel, I was stunned. Because I don't know if I could actually ask what they are asking for these. Again, I told you I was bad at retail for that reason. And but what I will do, I'll give one of the most amazing opportunities on a really, really rare gem. This color blue, or blue in general, with that kind of clarity, there is so little material out there. And look at this, 8x6. I mean, that's not too far out from even being calibrated. So here's the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm offering that stone for only $328. $328. That's less than $200 a carat. Okay, so thanks for everyone's patience. You can see now, I think the glass was causing some actually static electricity because remember, well, I won't get into it, but it's silicon dioxide. Glass is glass, and it's going to have those properties. Look at this on plastic. Look, you can see the clarity. That's what also the glass was masking, my ability to show you the internal clarity to it. And the neat thing about spinel versus corundum is many times, if you had the clarity like you're seeing right now, you could almost be assured that the stone will have been heat treated. The nice thing about spinel is seldom do you get those color zoning growth lines that you are so common in corundum, in ruby and sapphire, especially sapphire, where you get the zoning lines like you just saw in the fish. Well, this not only is blue, but it is an even colored blue, no zoning, amazing clarity. And wow, Look at that gem. Okay, so now that said, oh, here's the other thing that blue spinels often have is a touch of green to them. And that absolutely does not have that. Let's look at item 124, 4125. 124, 4125. And my goodness, time has gotten away from me. We lost a little bit. Okay, take a look. Take a look. Now, for those of you who, if you ever wondered where the word spinel came from, well, the Latin word is where it derives from. Spinella, which means little thorn, which actually makes great sense because of the crystal shape, pointed on both ends. Looks like a pointed thorn. So spinella was the Latin word for little thorn, and that's where we have the name, from the crystal shape of spinel. All right, look at this blue one. Look at that. Oh, I'm glad it changed up. It shows so much better against the white. You get to see the color very distinctly. The actual real color, it's really, wow, look at that clarity. Look at the clarity to that. No zoning, no inclusions, Mogok, blue Burma, amazing, amazing stone. Wow. And at a carat 78, I tell you what, yeah, so the other one, we did at 200 carat. This is oval. This is a fantastic stone. I'll offer this one for, I guess probably, I don't know. I really don't know. There were so much more. It doesn't matter. So let's do this for only $348. $348. And that's like 200 carats still. And it's one of those, I want you to go try to find one for that kind of money. It's just one of those things. Okay, I don't have much time for you. So let me take one moment here, get these stones picked up. I'll be right back. We're going to do a fast show and go through some items for you. Check this out. I have been saving these, have had these, and wow, a carving special. I'm going to try to show you this set of these two animals, and then I have elephants and tigers. So right now, these are all going to be the same price. We have two different item numbers for you. You're looking at the amethyst. So you can see the amethyst going around. Beautiful, beautiful chevron amethyst in these pieces and patterns. The tiger eye, the same thing. These are going to be only $32 a piece. And you can see with the tiger eye, the way the chatoyancy changes the color of them. That's what you want to see. And also, don't forget, you alligator, no, what is it called? You gator fans, you Florida Gator fans. Yeah, I was told to make sure I didn't call them crocodiles or refer to the football team as the Florida Alligators. No. Remember, I'm a Bulldog man up here, so I don't think much about the Florida Gators. Look at this. Look at this stuff. So these are amazing. They're large. You can see against my hand, all of them around 2 inches. And you can have a lot of fun if you collect these animals like this. Let me show you the chatoyancy in the tiger eye. This is the good stuff, the South African tiger eye. And it can be like totally dark. And see that you turn it, and that is the good stuff. All right. Only $32 each. And you can see Asif is switching the item numbers between them. So make sure that you get the right item number for the alligator. Because there's two different item numbers. There's the alligator in tiger eye, which is one item number. There's the alligator in amethyst. Now I have quantity isn't necessarily what you're just seeing. So you'll have to check with your sales rep at the time. Now, let me show two other items here really quickly. Pardon me? Yeah. So they're 2 inches, roughly 2 inches long. And if you see them in my hand, there you go. There's a great shot for that. Well done. And everyone always asks me that, so I appreciate that question as well. And you can see the tiger eye, how it looks in my hand. Love it. One of each would be a really good way to balance out a display. So now, let me show you really quickly here. Again, check for quantity in case these sell out of, they'll be in the system as okay, so, yep. So let me set back up on the next animals. I'll be right back. All right, here's the second group. Now, let me tell you, I actually hand-picked these. So, like, let me grab that one. That just caught my eye going around it because you look at it that way, it's one. Look at it that way. Look, this is why it makes a difference. Don't take anything for granted on the internet. As far as you thinking something is a good deal, it has everything to do with detail in a carving, has to do more so with the quality of the material. The quality of the carving will come with quality of the material. They don't go into fine detail if they're carving lesser grade material. They will, as it's just natural to do a better job when you have better material to work with. All right, so you have the tigers and the lions. I mean, the elephants and bears. No, you have, yeah, you can tell I had a child. So both are going to be the same price, the elephants and the tigers, $32 each. And Asif is going to toggle between those two item numbers so you can make sure you get the right item number for the right item. And wow, I'm telling you what, the quality of the tiger eye, the South African material, I find is really the best in the world for its chatoyancy and play of color. And again, not sure on the quantity of these. I know I have 3 of each that you're looking at there right now. We've got that wonderful bowl, of course, in the middle just because it looks so good. Asif's idea. He is the go-to guy, and I asked him how best to do these animals and display them. And of course, he had ideas far beyond and far greater with the kind of experience he has at production than I would have. So let me see if I can slide in here. Maybe one more item as I push the limits and going to try to get as many items right in front of you as I can. And this one looks like a perfect item. Item number 124, 5625. 124, 5625. Here is something you haven't seen. How about this? Maybe you have. It is a massage wand with it's some kind of high quality wood. Wood, people would know that. It's just not a normal wood. And look at that. It won't come out. That is a nephrite. British Columbian fine quality piece of nephrite, and it is a great massage tool. Price on that, I have it at a sale opportunity of only, I'll make it $44. Why not? $44. Isn't that neat as can be? Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Item 124, 4925. 124, 4925. I'm going to show this and slide in one more because I just have to. Take a look. Take a look. Now, we're going to just quickly move the animals aside because I have a stunning, for those of you that have missed out previously on my items that were from, look at this. Wait. You just see, what do you see? What do you see? Boom, there you go. Pink apatite. And for you fluorescent collectors, this fluoresces so strongly in yellow that it takes very little UV light to do it. Then you see this, you wouldn't believe it. You should see yellow. You can count and find all the apatites because of the fluorescence. This is one of the nicest pieces I have left. You can see the 6 sides to the apatite. Pink apatite out of Gilgit, Pakistan, one of the rarest apatites in the world. It's also has to be one of the most fluorescent. Wonderful muscovite mica around here. And what a fine collector's piece. If you want a deal and collecting the 4 items I had gotten from Pakistan, this is one of the last opportunities you'll have on a pink apatite. Price on this is a excellent value, $138. $138. And then coming to the last item of the show, because this is like a little jewel of the Nile from the What Am I collection last week. It's item 124, 5025. 124, 5025. And I actually wanted to give everyone a little closer look at this piece anyway. This was a crumb. I found this. You know, I was speaking about the little crumb collector in the Raven. Yeah. This was what she called a crumb. This is stunning quality in and greens. You can never get the color right. So this is as green can be. It's actually from Tobus's farm, but from the Green Dragon mine. The Green Dragon mine, oh, that's it. That's it. That is nailing the color right there. The Green Dragon mine, and it's neat that it's even wobbling on its own, showing you how beautiful it is. The Green Dragon mine is one of the deposits on the Tobus's farm. So there is multiple diggings on this large piece of property called Tobus's Farm 22. And the Green Dragon mine happens to be one of them. Now, that lighter green, those actually might be diopside. Diopside is found with it in a lighter green color. Look at these very well-formed crystals. And let me just backlight this for just a moment here. And, well, there we go. Look at the clarity. Look at the clarity to that. That is a stunning piece. And she tried to call that a crumb and keep it in her little collection. Sorry. Gotta watch her. Look at how well formed the multiple crystals are. And this is one of the really nicest, well, in the world of garnet and demantoid. This is demantoid. So this is your androdite in the demantoid variety. And of course, because it is an androdite, remember, you always have to watch because grossular can be in the same color, but how do you tell the difference? And I'm going to test myself. I haven't done this already, but let's see. Boom, right there. Right there it is. Look at that. That has almost a pickup response. You know why? Because androdite is a calcium iron garnet, and grossular does not have the iron component. But grossular garnet will fluoresce most of it an incredible orange, whereas this will not. So there should be no reason between those two factors, between magnetism and fluorescence, why you should ever mix the two up. Look at that clarity. Okay, this is the last item of the show because I would love to talk about my birthstone. That's from my own birthstone collection, garnet, and right there you can see live action. Never know. And you know, for anything to survive coming out of a mine, it's amazing that things are together and stay together without coming out in pieces, because it's so difficult to remove something from Mother Nature. All right, price on this only. Hold on, here. Yep, here we go. Wow, only can't be that inexpensive. 5.68 whatever carat. How about this? $178. Only $178, and you have to realize this color and quality and multiple garnets arrayed like that. That would make a stunning thumbnail. It would make a beautiful representation of Namibian demantoid. Look at the color. Remember, this is demantoid garnet, not just androdite, but the variety of androdite called demantoid. And at that price, think about the math on that. Let's see, $30 a carat, less than $30 a carat. Are you kidding me? For something like that as a crystal, think about that wire wrapped. That would be stunning. And I have a wire wrapper that'll be happy to do it for you. All right, that's the last item on the show. I appreciate the extra moment or two that it took. I know we started a little bit late, but we got a lot in front of you. I'll be right back with trivia. Okay, so that's all I have to say because time got away from me. I really wanted to show the petrified wood behind me, but that will wait for another show. In the meantime, kind of liking it back there because it looks really good. Plus, that double trilobite. I am selling that. I didn't for a long time. That was a beautiful entrance showpiece in our house, and it's the only double trilobite like that I've seen in a long time. Anyway, we'll get to those. I only do part at a time because, bless inventory's heart, Kevin has to be up there to tote all the heavy stuff around. So I don't want to overpower him with all the heavy stuff at once. Okay, now, You know, my head is so full of all this mineral and rock stuff, it just can go in any different direction at any time. And normally that's okay. But when I'm trying to make sense to all of you, oh, maybe I need to, kind of be more organized. All right. Um, I can already tell you, we're gonna have a great show again next week. If you enjoyed this one, because we got into this show, think about it. To me, I looked at the number of items shown, not that many. Quantity, because of the additional quantity to the carvings, which can lead to more people, more opportunities for all of you to get the items. Um, but for me, I wanted to get some more items shown out there too. But in lieu of that, it's okay because of what I got to show you. What I did show you were things I had saved, like those spinel crystals. Um, that those are a not only an oddity, but a high quality item that you can still find some of the reds, maybe they're little, but you can still find some of them. But you can't get a collection of the multiple colors. And that's what makes a display, whether you put them in a gem tube or you have them on your glass shelf next to some faceted stones and create, with a rough, maybe another specimen of a crystal in the rough. I mean, there is a lot of neat opportunities with what you do with these wonderful, wonderful items. Now, also, one thing to not forget when you're buying the animals, there's two things. One, there's going to be certain types of material that will be a birthstone. And if it sounds like I haven't shown all the animals that I have, you're right. There'll be some more in the weeks to come. Different types with different varieties of materials used. But here's the thing: if you're wondering, well, what am I going to do with if you don't already collect carved gemstone animals? Well, you might want to think about at least using them for another purpose. Okay, so amethyst, February birthstone. Maybe you don't want to give an alligator to someone, but an elephant with the trunk up, which is good luck. In amethyst, if I haven't shown one, well, there might be one coming up in the future, but I'm giving you a thought. Or let's say that it's perfect because February's coming up and you're a big Florida Gator fan and your child is going to be born in February. Well, what better thing to give them than their birthstone in a gator? Huh? I mean, I'm sure the Gator fans already are getting them, the new child, a little tiny one of those little tiny Gator T-shirts like they have, and those kind of things. Well, how about your beer buddies? And I know as many ladies that are into football as men, actually. But talking about your beer buddies, yeah, this is what I got my boy or my girl as a Gator fan. I got a birthstone, and they're gonna think some frilly little sissy thing, and you show them, no, this is the birthstone, a carved Gator. The good old boy kind of machismo kind of thing. So, bless you. There's going so think outside of the box. Think about baby shower gifts in a particular birthstone, in a particular carving. You might not have seen the carving yet, but there will be other opportunities at other animals and other carvings. You just have to wait and see. But what I'm saying is think outside of what you might normally wonder what you would do with something. Just like the gemstones or the crumbs that I refer to. Little Thuya boxes. I see all these around our house. I think, oh, here's one I can use to, offer at my job. And I'll open it up and it'll be full of crumbs. And then I'll get looking at the crumbs and I'll find something like a green dragon by Demantoid in it. But it's the fun. It's the use. Someone might think, well, what would I do with a Thuya box? Well, who would have ever thought that, the idea of putting little leftover pieces of gems and crystals in it, crumbs. That's what I mean. think of alternate uses for all of this neat and as gifts. Don't just think about yourself. You may not know a rock hound because maybe they don't have rocks displayed out, but I can guarantee you that the majority, that means over half of every girl or boy growing up collected or had in their pocket some rocks. It's just natural. Lots played with the rocks, liked rocks, and then they usually 99% of them outgrow that and move on. I didn't outgrow it. I didn't move on. I am stuck. I love rocks and everything to do with them, and use all those alternate uses to promote them. Use them baby shower gifts. Use them for wedding presents, bookends. You know what? How many of you would have rather gotten a pair of gemstone, jade bookends, tiger, whatever, specular hematite that I've had, bookends, instead of a toaster for a wedding gift? Don't you think that the other person you're giving a wedding gift to would prefer something much more cool than an electronic device? Yeah, they would. And your gift will be the one remaining on the shelves for the rest of life, be inherited down, whereas the electronic gift will be tossed in the trash 2 years after you gave it to them. Or it'll be regifted. So I'm just saying, there's lots here. You just have to think about it. And then for those of you that buy gemstones and minerals, which you should, well, I'm not recommending it, but for me, on a monetary end, it was a very wise thing to do, better use for my use of my money than any other use I can think of, was at the age of 11 years old to start collecting these items that I have been selling for 7.5 years without buying a single item. That is a gem and mineral collection. And that was my savings. That was my savings. I just happened to realize that a number of years ago that if I didn't start selling them now, they'd be filling my grave with the items. So you're getting the benefit. And I really appreciate those of you that recognize the value, the discounted value to what the real value in the marketplace is. And I have realized that the real marketplace, of course, is what someone is willing to pay for something. And that's why, my items get sold so quickly, is because all of you realize that what you're buying quarters for nickels, quarters for dimes, dimes for nickels, dimes for pennies. You're not going wrong. This is absolute fantastic opportunities here. You just have to recognize them. And, like I always said, yeah, it's wonderful to buy a quarter for a nickel, but you have to have the nickel to start with, for one. And then if you want, you need to be able to take that nickel and turn it back into a dime or even the same amount of money. But that's not the idea here. You're already, I call it making money on the buy. You're making money on the purchase price. And that's in the jewelry industry, that's a known figure to use. In other words, if you buy something less than what it would cost you wholesale in the marketplace, you get it in a secondary market. You do a friend a favor that just got divorced and buy their engagement ring because they need money, and so for you to stock it or buy it, you have to give much less than what the retail value of it is. You buy it for below the wholesale market. That is making money. That difference between that and what you would normally pay for something is making money on the buy. So when any of you buy an item that you can look it up and what everyone else is offering it for, and you've gotten it for half of that, you've already made then the difference between what you paid and what the regular market value is. That gap is making money on the buy. Then if you buy it low enough, you can resell it and make money on the sale. So I'm offering these items where you can make money on the buy and make money then on the resell, if that's what you care to do. So a 54-year-old collection, I have no idea what I would have in so much of this. So I make sure that I offer it well less than you'll ever find it anywhere else. That's the only thing that led me to doing research, is I just want to make sure that it was the best value I could give everybody, all of you out there. That ferrocobaltite I sold last week, no telling, because there's no other comparables. But I did find one or two, and the price was so many multiples of what that one was. I either had to mark it way up to be in line or just let a wise buyer have a fantastic deal. And that's what I really enjoyed seeing by those of you that recognize, especially on the higher end pieces, just how inexpensive I am been offering those for. And there's only one of a kind. I'm not going to come up with another sphero-cobaltite. That's it. So my opportunity to make money was on that one shot here and gone. Did I make a lot of money? No, because it's worth well beyond what I sold it for. But I would have been disappointed if there wasn't anybody out there that would have not have bought that, because it was at such a discounted price to the actual value. But I didn't know if any of you out there would recognize that. I know there's some of you. So it makes me feel good that it's recognized when I put up something at such a good deal, that it's bought. And even if the price point is higher than normal, it's a wise decision, especially, down the road. Again, you make money on the buy, and as the years goes on, you just make more. Because remember, Mother Earth can't remake these items in a day, a week, a year, 100 years, 1,000 years. No, unless it's a calcite or something like that, you're talking about eons of time. And yeah, so what we have is it, and that's why many of these items, their origins, where they originally were mined and found, are extinct. In other words, where they originally were mined and came from, no longer. Over 54 years, almost all mines play out in that length of time. And, gold veins don't run on forever. So it was good to see the 16-to-1 mine items were sold as well, because gold's just going up. They would just get more expensive. All right. So anyway, I could go on, but I think I think a lot of you are getting the idea and realizing. And this is one thing I do encourage: go and research it and try to find other items, in the mineral specimens that are comparables, and see just how much they are. That would do nothing but make my job easier. Yeah. If that's what I want to do. It's difficult to sell a lot of these items, believe me, really difficult. But I've enjoyed them, many of them, for decades and decades. And now it's someone else's turn. Okay, here we go. Ready? I have the trivia questions. We'll do another What Am I kind of soon. I won't tell you when. I have to put together, because I like to do it about 9 items. I think that's a good number to do it in. So I have to get 9 new items together. So give me time. All right, here we go. Question number 1. It's a simple one. Spinel, since we did a lot about spinel today. Simple, straightforward question, but important one. Because spinel, in all of its different colors, it can look like anything from a tourmaline to a garnet, a broad, sapphire. Yeah, a lot of sapphires. But what sets it apart from almost all the others is the crystal system it belongs to. What spinel belongs to what crystal system? Now, not habit or not the morphology of it. In other words, the primary, which all mineral specimens start with a primary crystal group. I think there's like 7 of them or so total. So what is the primary crystal group does spinel belong to? We talked about this. Okay, so that's the first question. Second question has to do with the first, and it'll help you understand better the umbrella that I got to make sure I don't slip up and say the name of it, because I would tend to do that. So the primary crystal system group then has habits or different forms of that crystal morphology underneath it. Like I think I read one time where calcite has, I don't know, I want to say 800 different what they call habits or different forms of the crystal system it belongs to. And if you saw how many different ways a calcite looks like, I think I would belong. I think it probably is that many. So the question is, name 3 names given to the crystal form or habit of the spinels shown. All right. So, and we talked about this. And we also talked about the multiple names given to the form or habit of spinel that I featured. So you have the broader class, the broader um, type of crystal system, and then underneath it, you have the different habits that it's found in. What is the most common? And to some of you, you won't have seen it in any other form. Now, not I'm going to take one away from you. So not twinned. Don't use the word twinned. That's a little different altogether. But what are the 3 different names given for the habit of the crystal of the spinels that you saw today? There's pretty much just 3, so I need 3 for 3 here from you, and it's real important because that is the type of language you need to be able to use in discussing diamonds and other gems. And I don't want to give you any more clues than that. And the last question is, name 2 methods mentioned. And again, mentioned, so don't go outside the box of what we talked about. Name 2 methods mentioned to distinguish between green grossular garnet and demantoid garnet, which we know is a green demantoid. So demantoid belonging to the androdites, so I'll remind you of that. And here is why I say it's important to know the difference, because they can be very, very similar. Because what color or what type of family member underneath grossular can look just very similar to a demantoid, and that would be savarite garnet. So let me I can reword it this way because it would work the same. What 2 methods, and let's do this field methods. Take away the refractometer. Okay, so I don't want to hear any refractometer answers. Name 2 methods mentioned, how easy it would be for anybody. So name the 2 methods mentioned to distinguish between grossular garnet and demantoid garnet, or rephrased, between savarite garnet and demantoid garnet. And you don't need any expensive equipment. So we'll leave it at that, because too much, too easy for me to give away too much information and the answer. Okay, so I could go on and on, but we'll stop there. Asif, he's an important man. He has a lot to do. I got a big mess to clean up. Look forward to lots of goodies in coming on each week here, and I so enjoy bringing this to you. I am glad that all of you enjoy it as well. And even if, again, it's a little item, please support the show with, I'm just going to be frank, even though I'm Shawn, I'm going to be frank and say, even if it's a little item, please make a purchase as you can afford it. And that will do nothing but help the show and help us grow and help us stay right here bringing you the show every week. So God loves you. I love you, and I can't wait to see all of you next Monday. Cheers.